Hello and welcome to what I think is going to be the last in my little series, inviting you to join me on my mini retreat over these last weeks as I've reflected on what came up for me when I was on my silent 8-day retreat at the beginning of my sabbatical. I'm sure I'll share more sabbatical thoughts with you as time goes on, but this is the last in the kind of the retreat series, if you like. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about a particular Bible passage that I read and reflected on a lot during my time there. And there was so much that came out of that passage for me, but there's one thing in particular that I want to share today. If you want to go away and read it, it's from Luke chapter 5 and verses 1 to 11. And it's the story of Jesus getting into Simon Peter's boat so that he could get a bit of a distance away from the crowds so he could continue to teach them. So he goes and gets into Simon Peter's boat, and off they go. And then when the teaching is finished, Jesus then says to Simon, "Let's go out a bit deeper." And Simon takes them out deeper, and Jesus says, "Put your nets down here." And Simon says, "But Jesus, we've been fishing all night. We've not caught any fish." And yet he puts the nets down. He says, "Oh, well, if you say so, then I'll put the nets down." And of course, in comes this incredible catch of fish. Now, there were so many things for me that came out of that passage. I read them Lectio Divina style, and we've talked about Lectio Divina before, and I'll come back to it another time. I'm not going to explain about it in detail today, but as I was reading it in that way, so many things came up, but the one thing in particular that has stayed with me was about Jesus being in the boat with me. I'll be quite honest and say that before I left to go on my sabbatical, I was pretty near burnout. That doesn't mean there weren't some fantastic things going on in the benefice, but it had been absolutely exhausting. And there was part of me as I went into my retreat of saying to God, I don't know how I'm going to go back to that. I don't know how I'm going to go back and sustain all those pressures. And as I then reflected on this reading and spent time with it in prayer, I had this very, very profound sense of Jesus saying, "But Hannah, I'm in your boat." And that reminder that actually, Jesus is the one that tells us where to catch the fish. And that so often I expect you, because I think probably us humans are all much the same, we can forget sometimes that it isn't all up to us. And maybe one of the lessons that God was trying to teach me yet again, because it won't be the first time, and it wasn't the first time, and it certainly won't be the last, was that it doesn't all depend on me. And it's okay, because Jesus is in the boat with me. All he calls me to do is to keep rowing and to go where he asks me to go. And that just felt so releasing, because there are times when, I might have to make decisions about what we do or don't do. And I know some people are going to be unhappy with those decisions, and that's going to create some difficulty, whatever it might be. And that can always be really difficult. But that reminder that actually I'm not doing it alone. Jesus is in the boat with me. And of course, that's the same for you. Jesus is in your boat. You're not in it alone. And sometimes we forget Jesus is in our boat, sitting right beside us, saying, let's just go over here. Let's just go deeper for a bit. What does deeper mean to you? Because he said to Simon, let's go deeper into the water. Deeper might be going deeper with God. Deeper might mean going out of your comfort zone. Deeper might mean just going into a space with God where you get away from everyone else for a bit, to make sure that you do spend that time with him. To get reminded that he's the one in the boat with us. And that when we've got him in the boat with us, and when we're spending the time with him and acknowledging him in the boat with us, it's then that maybe we can be a little bit more alert to when he says, now put your net down here, because this is where the fish are. But if we're too busy just being in the boat on our own, we can miss him saying, here are the fish. And we can miss the fish. So that's something I'm going to be living with and sitting with for many, many months to come, I think, because it was a key thing for me. But I leave it with you too. What does it mean for you to know that Jesus is in your boat. I encourage you over this next week to go and sit with that passage, Luke 5, 1 to 11. Read it prayerfully, read it again. What stands out for you? What is God saying to you? For me, it was words of incredible comfort, if you like, to be reminded I'm not in it alone. Jesus is the one actually who's in charge. I might have a job to do. I might have been called to do something, but I'm not called to do it in my own strength. I'm called to do it with Jesus in the boat, as are you. So let's get rowing into the deep and see what God has to say to us. God bless you.